In a quiet street in South London, where rows of Victorian terraces carry the muted patina of time, one house interrupts the rhythm. Behind its modest brick facade, an unexpected symphony of color and texture unfolds. A place where fabrics speak, light dances, and walls seem to carry their own personality. The home belongs to Amelia Hart, a fashion stylist known for her instinctive use of color and her ability to tell stories through clothing. For years, Amelia dressed bodies with fabric, turning everyday people into characters of expression. But this house, tucked between two almost identical facades, became her most personal canvas. Not a garment for the body, but a garment for the soul. Amelia first saw the property on a gray February afternoon. The estate agent's description was blunt. In need of modernization. It was a polite way of saying neglected, tired, forgotten. The small terrace had stood for more than a century, its wallpaper peeling in strips like old clothing seams, its floorboards creaking with exhaustion. Where others saw inconvenience, Amelia saw possibility. She was drawn to the quiet sadness of the rooms, the way dust gathered in corners like unspoken memories. There was, she said later, a sense of story waiting to be rewritten. Her motivation wasn't financial gain or even architectural prestige. It was something more intimate. After years of creating ephemeral beauty in fashion, collections that changed with seasons, campaigns that dissolved with trends, she longed for permanence. A home that could carry her imagination, not for a month or a season, but for decades. So, she bought the house, alone, without consulting friends who would have warned her of the chaos. The transformation was anything but straightforward. The house resisted her touch at first, as if reluctant to shed its history. Beneath the wallpaper, she discovered not plaster, but crumbling horsehair mix. The staircase tilted precariously, leaning into the wall like an exhausted dancer. Working with a small group of local craftsmen, a carpenter, an architect, and a painter who had never before painted interiors, Amelia began to reimagine the space. Unlike many renovations that aim for minimalism, Amelia leaned into excess. The living room became her palette's first experiment. She layered saffron yellow across the walls, a color both bold and enveloping. Against it, she set a velvet sofa in midnight blue. Above, a chandelier of hand-blown glass refracted sunlight into fragments, scattering them across the floorboards like spilled jewels. The kitchen was once a cramped corridor, its cabinets sagging, its windows clouded with grime. Amelia knocked through the wall at the back, opening the space to a small garden. She replaced the cabinets with reclaimed oak, their uneven grain echoing the imperfections of handmade clothing. The backsplash, a mosaic of mismatched tiles, reflected her stylist's love of clashing patterns that somehow resolve into harmony. Upstairs, the bedrooms became sanctuaries of mood. One in deep forest green, heavy with texture and shadow, a place to retreat and cocoon. Another, a guest room, dressed in coral pink with brass fixtures that glowed like jewelry. But the studio room, once a narrow bedroom at the front of the house, was the heart of her vision. Here she built open shelves for textiles collected on travels, indigo cloth from Jaipur, tartan remnants from Glasgow, silks dyed in uneven shades of red from Vietnam. Against a neutral backdrop, these fabrics became a living library, each fold a memory, each color a chapter. The process was not without struggle. Plumbing failed twice. A storm exposed leaks in the roof, soaking weeks of progress. There were days when Amelia questioned whether she had been reckless, whether she had mistaken chaos for beauty. Yet, like her work in fashion, She understood transformation as a process of trial and error, missteps and corrections. Slowly, the house began to reveal itself, not as a polished showroom, but as a layered garment, stitched with intention and imperfection. What makes this home remarkable is not its architecture alone, but its emotional texture. Amelia did not renovate in pursuit of perfection. She sought resonance. The walls do not match evenly. The colors do not obey conventional palettes. Instead, they collide and converse, like fabrics in one of her fashion shoots, velvet against linen, silk beside wool. The house has a sense of rhythm, as if each room is a different stanza in a poem. In its bones, the house retains its Victorian restraint, the narrow hallway, the high ceilings, the modest facade, all whisper of the lives that came before. But within, it now holds a vivid modernity, a dialogue between past and present. Amelia often says the house taught her as much as she transformed it. In fashion, she had always been chasing the next. Here, she learned to linger with the now. The uneven floorboards she first thought to replace, she kept. Their creaks became part of the home's voice. The chipped fireplace, once destined for disposal, became a centerpiece once she painted it cobalt blue. For Amelia, color is not decoration, but language. Yellow for courage, blue for depth, green for rest, pink for joy. Her home became a sentence written in tones and shades, expressing emotions that words could not hold. On certain evenings, when friends gather, she watches them move through the rooms as though navigating chapters of a story. Their laughter bounces from wall to wall, mixing with the colors until it feels as though the house itself is alive. Not just a container of memory, but a participant in it. There is also something deeply cultural in her approach. South London is a place of diversity, where Caribbean bakeries sit beside Turkish grocers, where murals bloom on brick walls, and voices from dozens of languages mix on the streets. Amelia's home mirrors this mosaic. It does not present a singular polished identity, but a tapestry woven from fragments. In the end, Amelia's house is not simply where she lives, but where she listens, to color, to history, to imperfection. A reminder that a home like a garment can carry not only the weight of the body, but the depth of the soul.